This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Attingham Park. But before that, this video is brought to you by GoldenEye 48 and Alfredo Farms. Thank you for being farm barons. So Attingham Park can be found off the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now, Attingham Park is back. This was a much beloved map in Farm Sim 19, and it is returned for Farm Sim 22. Let's read a little bit of the description. Welcome to Attingham Park. As a newcomer to agriculture and the area, you have gotten a job at the local BGA, which luckily has some equipment that you can use, but it comes at a price. And more on that once we get into the map. You can be successful and work your way up to one of the available farms in the area, or even build out your own. The choice is yours. The terrain, height, field sizes all correspond to the real life location. This map includes a real life PDA, and the map is precision farming ready with a custom soil map, and we also have a custom growth calendar included with this map. This map includes a collision removal trigger for the hedges. At the shop, we have 47 fields, 2 forestry areas, and most of the items are only going to work on the map once you buy the land. There are 3 farms built in: the Malthouse Farm, which is horses and pigs; Brompton Farmhouse, which is chickens and cows; Crossfields Dairy, which is cows and sheep; and then we have a fishing club, which is going to be able to provide us a little bit of idle income. Now, we are going to use some mods that we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Now, if you happen to load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that you do not own any land, nor do you have any machinery at the start, but you do, of course, have an adequate bank balance to get yourself started. We are going to be loading this map up in new farmer mode, and thus taking a look at it in that way. So when you load into the map for the very first time, you are going to be up here in Attingham Park at the hotel, because this is where you are staying, because you are new to the area. So you're going to have to stay at the hotel. You're going to have a sleep trigger located right here. And your pickup truck is going to be located over here in the parking lot. Right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. As you can see, this is a real life location, and we are using a Google Earth image to represent the PDA, the town, and everything else. This is a fabulous, fabulous map. Go ahead and take a look at the lands area. You'll see we start out by owning the biogas plant and Field 35. Field 35 is a grass field right here by the biogas plant, and that is how you are going to get your start here on this map. This map includes 3 farms. So we have the Malthouse Farm, which is located up here to the north, just below Attingham Park itself. You're going to be able to buy that for $456,000. It is 45 acres in size. Then we have Brompton Farmhouse, which is chickens and cows. You're going to be able to buy that for $213,000. It is 21 acres in size. And then we have Crossfields Dairy, which is cows and sheep. It includes fields 26, 27, and 25. It can be bought for $459,460. Now, we also mentioned the fishing club. That can be bought for $36,360. We could, if we wanted to, buy the unbuyable land, which includes the towns. There are 2 towns, one in the north, one in the south, as well as the river and the road network for $0. That would allow us to do whatever placement we wanted to put down. We wanted to put down additional sell points. If we wanted to do terraforming or landscaping right up to the roads, or if we wanted to just put in a river crossing, we have that capability. This map does include all of the standard crop types available to us here in Farm Sim 22, but as we're going to see in the custom growth calendar, he did remove growth schedules for cotton and sugarcane. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how big those farmlands are, if those farmlands include fields, what fields they include, then ultimately how much each of those particular farmlands is going to cost. As you can see, we own 35 and 36 at the start. 35 includes field 35. It's $121,580. And the BGA can be bought for $24,380 if you do not own it already. I'm just going to slowly scroll through this list, and you can go ahead and kind of pay attention to the farmlands, sizes, and field numbers. And then we're going to cross-reference that with the field calculator here in a little bit. And that is going to tell us the exact size of the particular fields. So the fields are pretty decent in size around here. We've got field 15, which is 19 hectares in size. Field 16 is 25. Then we get down here to some smaller fields, like field 22 is just 0.53 hectares in size. So we've got quite the variety of fields, a good mix of, I think, medium and large fields available on this map. Here we have our custom growth schedule. We can see that we do have no growth schedule for cotton or sugarcane. So while the map includes those listed, and while we do have sell points for sugarcane and cotton, we do not have a planting or harvest season. So if you are playing this map with seasonal cycles enabled, you will not be able to run sugarcane or cotton. If you have seasonal cycles turned off, then you will have free reign to put down sugarcane and cotton should you so wish. Let's go ahead and take a look at our prices screen. You can see we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the available crops that we can grow on this particular map, including cotton and sugarcane. We also have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, wood chips, silage, hay straw, and grass. And then as we look through all of the base game productions, we see we do indeed have the ability to sell each and every base game production item that is available in Farm Sim 22. Now we do have the ability to buy bulk lime, but we do not have the ability to sell our stones. So if you are going to play this map with stones enabled, you will need to put down your own stone crusher or some way of getting rid of your stones. Take a look at our starting equipment. This is all of the biogas except for the pickup truck. And you may notice something. The only thing that we actually own is the pickup truck. Every piece of equipment that is at the biogas plant is leased, and that is what the cost is that the description said. So while you are working, trying to struggle, get yourself out of a hole so you can buy one of those farms, you're going to have to be dealing with lease payments at the same time. Now, this map does not include any animals, but you do see animals listed here because these are the animals at the animal dealer. So this map has animated cows at the animal dealer, and the way the map author has done this is he has set the animal dealer up as if it is an animal area. You will be able to buy and sell these cows. So maybe if you want to get rid of the brown Swiss, you want to get rid of the limousine, then you can just do that, and you can just make them all Angus. You can make them all Holstein cows, however you want. And he's added a ton of food in here, so pretty much you never have to worry about it. Now, this map does include contracts, and we do own the biogas plant at the start as far as the production points go, but we kind of already knew that. Now, this map does not include collectibles. Let's go ahead and jump back up here. I keep almost forgetting our precision farming soil map. So let's go ahead and see how the soil map gets applied to this map. Remember, this is a custom soil map. So to the north of the river, we have a fair bit of silty clay, a little bit of silty clay to the south of the river. Then we get into some sandy loam to the south. And ultimately to the far north, we have a good chunk of loam. So there we have our custom soil map. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out by owning the 2017 pickup truck, and we start out by leasing the 7810 John Deere. We have the JCB 54170 Agri Pro telehandler. We have the Kuhn GMD 4411 side mower. as well as the Sames Z2 840H windrower. We have the Zelon CFS 2501 DO forage wagon, and for our telehandler, we have the universal bucket. Remember, each and every one of these items are leased, so you will have to deal with not only daily lease payments, but hourly lease charges as well. This map does not include any custom vehicles or machinery because we do not see the map icon listed here in the mods or DLCs page. Now with that, I'm going to go ahead and just tab over to the biogas plant. This is going to act as our farm tour since we do not own an actual farm on this map. So we've got our BGA, so we have our dump station for our slurry, we have our digestate, our digester, our interactive trigger, we have our digestate fill point, and then we also have a fuel silo up here. You're going to find one of these fuel silos at each and every one of the possible player farms. It is currently empty, but we could buy into 10,000 liters of fuel should we so wish. We have our pull-through silage bunker located right here. Let's go ahead and pull up the trigger marker. So we do have our chaff trigger there. And then we have our machinery for the BGA. And then we might as well show you field 35 because it is right out from the biogas plant. And it is located right here. Now, before we get on with the aerial tour, I do want to take a look at the build mode because this map includes a fair bit of things in the build mode that are custom with the map. We have an absolute ton of buildings that are available because each and every farm is totally customizable with a few minor exceptions. And as a result, all of the various buildings that are on the various farms can not only be sold, they can also be purchased. So starting here, we have a shed, multiple sheds, obviously, and we're just not going to click on each and every one of them, but we will kind of scroll through this list, and you can see each and every shed that we have available to us listed as Attingham Park. Those are going to be custom with the map. We do have a custom manure heap that has 360-degree rotation, also listed here under silos. Nothing under silos extensions. We have a fuel tank listed here under containers. Tools and farmhouses. We've got a small placemat to act as our sleep trigger here for the farmhouses. Under production, we have just base game production items listed. We have no custom sell points, greenhouses, orchards, or generators. All of our animal areas are default, so we do not have any custom animal areas. The custom animal areas that are built into the map, do not sell them, because if you sell them, you will have to put down a generic animal area or a modded one. But so if you really want to, I guess you can sell it. But I'm just saying, if you sell it by accident, you're not going to be able to put it back down. Under decorations are fences, lights, and others are all base game. And then we take a look at our landscaping textures. Let's just go ahead and kind of plop them down right here. So we have our asphalt, another asphalt, gravel, concrete, another form of concrete, a third form of concrete, dirt, forest ground, another forest ground, some grass, some more grass, some more gravel, some more gravel, and even more. And guess what? Even more. And guess what? Even more. And more. Then we go into our animal mud. Some more animal mud. Some concrete. Some rock. and some additional rock. Now we have Elm Creek and Hope Baileroon trees. And we have some fairly limited plants in just some bushes and some meadow grass. So let's take a look at these textures. We've got our asphalts, white stone, our various concretes, and these are using the new texturing technique. Various stones, grass, forest grounds, alternate forest ground, and just flat out general dirt. Our stone, brushed concrete located right there. We have two different flavors of animal mud. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of altitude here and do a little 360 of the view. The map has some pretty decent map borders that stand up very well until you get right up close to them. So I'm not overly worried about how the map looks as far as distance scenery go. Works pretty darn good. Again, until you get right up to the map border. Now we do have some things like the animal dealer that is right on the map border and a few other things kind of down in the lower southwest corner for the town that can lead itself into a little bit of suspect, I guess, when you start thinking about and looking at the border edge. Now, we are going to finish our area tour over at Attingham Park, because that is where the vehicle shop is. But before we get over there, we're going to travel up to the north and then kind of loop down the eastern side of the map. What we're coming up here first for is to take a look at our sawmill area. Is located right here. Mr. Split's Furniture. So that is our carpentry facility. And there are 11 production facilities built into the map. We have a bakery, a dairy, a water mill, sawmill, a tailor, and named Urban Sheep Clothing. And the clothing manufacturer is going to make both fabric and clothing. We have a carpentry, a sugar processing facility, a grape processing facility, as well as 2 large greenhouses and the biogas plant. Now, this is our water mill. And the water mill acts as both the flour mill and the oil mill. So we're going to be able to make flour here as well as our traditional oils. We have a potato sell point here in sweet potato. And we're going to fly down the eastern side of the map. Technically, you're looking off the edge of the map at that point. Let's go ahead and turn the camera and take a look across to the western edge. This map has some nice rolling fields, rolling hills. Nothing too terrible extreme. So here we are over at the Crossfields Dairy. Our sheep area, which we passed, is back there. And then we have our cow barn and farm there. We're making our way over now to Brompton Farmhouse. And Brompton Farmhouse is where we are going to find our chickens and cows. We have one of our sell points located down here. A little small country shop. And then Brompton Farmhouse is just past the biogas plant. We can see the biogas plant just there above it. And Brompton Farm is going to include one of the large greenhouses. The southern town is where we're going to find the second large greenhouse, as well as several production and sell points. For example, we have our sawmill located here. We also have our grape processing facility. We have our dairy down there, as well as a kind of a secondary workshop in D&G auto repairs. We have our bakery down here, and then right across from the bakery, we have the other large greenhouse. Got some sell points located here. A grain sell point located right there. We have fuel and another sell point below the country stores. Then we're going to make our way up the the western side of the map to the north. This is where we are going to encounter our animal dealer and the live cows that are at the animal dealer. And we'll talk about how you can customize these cows when we get down here during the drive around, but we also have a bale sell point down here, as well as a buy point for slurry or manure. Coming up to the Fishery Club over here on our right beside the river here. And again, if you buy this particular piece of land, it will start paying you back during the hourly income. Malthouse Farm is directly ahead. It is horses and pigs. Also includes a grain silo. The only farm on the map that includes a grain silo by default. Then we have a sell point at the hotel. We're going to go ahead and just kind of turn around here because we have the Urban Sheep Tailor, which is also going to act as our spinnery because they make both fabric and clothing. We have our workshop trigger for our dealer, located right here. We have a bulk buy point, and then we'll make our way over here to the vehicle shop. This is where we're going to buy our Mahindra. This is also where we can turn on and off the collisions for the hedges. So let's go ahead and get our Mahindra here. And around this sign, we have a trigger. And if we look at our F1 menu, it says hedge collision off. Click. Now our hedges no longer have collisions. Hedge collision on. And now our hedges do have collisions. So let's just go kind of demonstrate this. So here we have our collisions on our hedges. We cannot walk through the hedges. And let's go back and turn those collisions off. And now we are back at our collisions, and you're going to see we can just walk right on through. So if you're the kind of person that likes to play with maps that do not have hedge collisions, you can turn them off. If you like to play on maps with hedge collisions, well, they're already on by default, so you really don't have to do anything. But if you, for whatever reason, find that the hedges are in a collision state for which you do not prefer, you can just come down here to the shop and make your selection by turning them either on or off. So we've got a fairly small area, in my opinion, for new things to spawn in at. It's pretty much just located right here. And getting out of the vehicle shop is a little bit of a tight endeavor because we've got a little narrow exit here, but we definitely have no real room to kind of make a wide turn. Getting out of here, we've got some fairly narrow roads. I mean, these might be considered wide roads in the great land of the UK, but overall, in Farm Sim, I would say they are some fairly narrow lanes. So let's go ahead and get ready and drive around. But first, let's go check out Urban Sheep. Like I said, this is our tailor and spinnering. So we have our interactive icon there. We have our pallet spawn point. And if we go inside, you'll see that we do have our dump station actually inside of this building. And we're going to have to walk over here to this to activate that. And there we go. And then here we have our trigger for our vehicle shop. You see we have the repaint option. So this is our customized paint, buy, sell, trade shop trigger. Now, coming out of the shop, we are going to this is probably best if we make a left here, because this is going to take us right down to Brompton Farm. Sorry, Malthouse Farm. I had this one completely mixed up. Now you will notice the triggers do not pop up because we do not own the land. So let me go ahead and rectify that situation. And now that we own all the land, we can go around here and take a look at all the various triggers. So right here we have our horse area. On the other side of the barn, we have our horse buy trigger. 14 horses in this particular facility. And our food and straw trigger is going to be located inside the building. So we have our straw trigger and our food trigger located right here. Here we have our horses, so we have our straw, we have our food. No requirement for water. They have a self-watering water trough right there. And as I said, everything on these farms can be sold. At least everything on this particular farm can definitely be sold. At the other two farms, there's a few things that stick around, but they're not overly in the way. So we're not necessarily going to deduct any points on those regards. Now, where you see the maintenance trigger on these farms, we also have a wardrobe trigger. Right here at the blue wardrobe. Now, we can sell the wardrobe trigger, but we cannot put a new wardrobe trigger down. We have our fuel silo. We have our grain silo here. We have our dump and fill pipes. And we can also sell this concrete. So this concrete pad that if we sold the building would impede our ability to do any landscaping and such. We can also sell this decorative concrete pad. all of the sheds, as I have said. And then we have our pig area. 270 Piggly Wigglies. We have our food trough and our straw trigger. We have our slurry point. And then none of these come up as a manure heap. So I think these are really designed just to work as kind of root crop storage areas. I don't think our manure is going to just magically spawn in here because, again, we don't have the little info pop up down in the lower corner telling us that we are standing next to a manure heap. So that was Malthouse Farm. And of course, all of these roll doors do actually work. Now I need to make our way back over to the hotel so we can take a look at that sell point. We have our hotel sell point located right here. And we're going to need to go across the top of the map in order to get to our carpentry as well as our water mill and our sweet potato sell point. We have one more area that we want to take a look at, and that is right here. This is listed on the PDA as a liquid silo. I do believe that it is a sell point. So here it says liquid silo. So we have a dump point and a fill point. So you may want to come through here with a tanker and see possibly what that particular silo is going to do for us. Field 15, as you can see here, is one of the bigger fields on the map. And 16 below it are definitely the two big boys. Here we have Mr. Split's furniture, so we have our dump point, we have our pallet spawn point. And then we have to come inside here to get to our interactive trigger. And then we have our wood cell trigger located on the other side of the counter. And Mr. Split's wood, he's going to be making furniture for us. So he'll either accept logs or planks. Sweet potato or the old water mill. folks out just taking a little bit of a stroll through the land. So here we have our dump station for the old water mill. We have our pallet spawn point for our flour or oil bottles. As I said earlier, the water mill will act as both a flour mill to produce the traditional flour that we have in the game, or it can act as a oil mill and produce one of the 3 different oils that we have in the game. Then we have our interactive trigger right there. We have our sweet potato sell point, and then another dump station right there. And of course, the old water mill gets its name because it's right here along the river. And we have an old water wheel that is kind of part of an older abandoned structure. Now, with respect to the map being able to sell all the base game products, animal outputs, and crops, we are going to give the map a full point there. And we are going to give the map a full point with respect to the farms being customizable. So the first farm we took a look at, we can pretty much sell everything that is on the farm except for the gate at the opening of the farm. We can't sell the gate, oddly enough. For Crossfields Dairy and Brompton Farmhouse, we can't sell the farmhouses, but they're not necessarily in the way. They're kind of part of the area, but they're not necessarily completely in the way. So we're not going to deduct a point there because, again, the sleep trigger is the little placemat that we can put down anyway. So we don't need to sell the farmhouse in order to be able to do a sleep trigger. As far as narrow roads, we've got this bridge to navigate in order to get to our turn. This is the main road that we're going to have to use to go south. There's only one road south, and this is it. I mean, you could technically make your way south by weaving around some fields. There is a land bridge just between fields 13 and 41 with respect to the river. And I may detour over there just to show you the land bridge, but overall this is going to be your main way of getting north and south on the map. So here we have our fishing club, and if we own this land, we are going to get a little bit of money every hour. And this is all just decorative. Got some tents set up. Come down here, we got some nice access to the river. Just come down here, chill out, do a little fishing. Dream about the days where you didn't have so many responsibilities. Back when you thought you wanted responsibility so you could do your own thing. And now that you have those responsibilities, you wish you could be back in the days where you realize now that you did your own thing and life was grand. Alright, let's go ahead and sneak over here by field 13 and 41 to show you the kind of river land bridge. Most areas, the river is a little bit too deep to just traverse it. But as we saw earlier in the video, we can, if we want, buy the river and raise the roof. So we could fill the river in with land if we wanted to make some additional land crossings. This is the one that is provided for us. It's a little steep, but we can indeed make our way across. And while we're over here, we might as well check out this sheep area. It's kind of over here all by its own self. "75 sheep in this particular facility. We have our food trough. We have our water trough. Then we have our wool spawn point. And that trigger, that little marker there, it doesn't come up unless you actually own this particular piece of land. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. Buy that for $27,000. It's right here. And then everything else that we're going to take a look at is going to be on the southern side of the river at this point. Next stop is the animal dealer. We're going to learn about how we can customize the animals or the cows that are at the dealer. Maybe you want them to be all Holstein, maybe you want to be all Angus, all whatever. And this little trick worked in FS19 also for this particular map. So you see here we have our brown Swiss, we have our Holstein, we have all the different cow types in this pasture. We're going to come up to our animal dealer. We're going to select the animal dealer cows, and we're going to be able to sell the cows we don't want. Just like that, and then we can come in here and we can buy more of the cows we do want, and this particular facilities will hold 15. It already has food. And a fair bit of food here, so you're not going to have to worry about feeding or watering these guys. They're just going to kind of exist. Also down here we have our bale sell point, and we have a buy point for slurry and manure. And on our way out, we're going to see that now we all have the same cow. It's a cute little fun trick that we can do. Go ahead and make our way down to the little town at the southwest corner of the map. There's a fair bit going on down here. First thing we're going to hit up is our country store. So we have our fuel point, and around the back of the country store we have our sell point. So these guys are going to accept all types of fun stuff. And then around through here, it's a little bit of a maze. I think we'll do okay. So Here we have Lower Cross Indoor Market. And we have a pair of sell points for crops and finished goods. Very narrow through here, so you're going to be wanting to come through smaller trailers, smaller tractors, vehicles. Here we have a grain sell point, and the grain actual dump station is in behind this door. So there you have the dump crate. This is going to take us around to the bakery, as well as the large greenhouse. So here we have our pallet spawn point. Our dump station and interactive trigger at Sunrise Bakery. If we buy this piece of land, we'll have access to this large greenhouse as well as this very small field. If we go this way, we're going to have access to the sawmill as well as the dairy. So we have our wood chip sell point here. We have our pallet spawn point for the sawmill, our interactive icon, our dump station for our logs. We also have another dump station here for other things that we're going to be picking up, like our wood chips. Then we have an interactive icon right there for the sawmill. Here we have D&G Auto Repair, so we have another maintenance workshop trigger. We have our sugar shack, so this is going to be our sugar mill, where we're going to be able to make sugar out of our normal things: sugar beets, sugar cane, sugar beet cut. We have our dairy, we have our interactive trigger, our pallet spawn point, and deliveries around back. Here we have our dump station. Now this dairy does not make chocolate, so this dairy only deals with butter and cheese. We have our grain processing facility, base cane grain processing unit. And I think that covers all of this little town. Pretty tight quarters driving up and around through here. And actually that is the wrong way of going about it. There we go. Making our way along the map border here. At this point, we only have to look at the Brompton Farmhouse, Crossfields Dairy, and the BGA, or basically the road going into the BGA. We looked at the BGA at the very start. this is not the road into the BGA. This will actually loop you back around to the animal dealer. Just wanted to show you that road. And a little bit of a shortcut if you don't need to come into the town. You can turn right there at the animal dealer and make your way across to this particular intersection. This dirt road, though, this is the way back into the BGA. Taking along this grass field that we own at the start. And there you have your biogas plant. Now we have Brompton Farmhouse. And Brompton Farmhouse has a large greenhouse located right here. We have the farmhouse that is associated with the map, or the farm. Brompton Farmhouse's farmhouse is right here. This does not have a sleep trigger. You will have to put down your placemat or sleep trigger of choice for that. And the farmhouse and this brick wall, it remains. It doesn't go away. You can't sell that. Now what you can sell is all of the rest of the farm. So we have our fuel point, storage. We have our maintenance trigger and wardrobe trigger. Around the back of the farmhouse, we have our chickens. So our dump point, we have our buy point for 30 chickens. And we have our egg spawn point. More sheds. We've got our greenhouse located right there. And then down around the back, we have our cow area. So 200 cows in this particular facility. We have our milk trigger. We have our food trough. We have our slurry point. And then our cow pasture. Got one more sell point and then one more farm. Down by field 36, we have a small country store where we have a sell point in both the front and the rear. So depending on the product, you're going to either bring it to the front or the rear of the building. And then as we drive to the final farmhouse, with respect to buildings using the new texturing technique, while most of the buildings, if not 3/4, 75%, 80%, all the buildings are not using the new texturing technique. They are very well textured, but do not really detract from the overall feel of the map. We're going to give the map a half a point with respect to textures using the new texture, buildings using the new texturing technique, and our ground textures. And with respect to our player interactive areas being clearly marked, we're going to give the map a full point there as well. So overall, the map is going to end up with a score of 4.5 out of 5 which is still very, very respectable. So here we have Crossfields Dairy. The farmhouse here does not sell, but it is also kind of off to the side. It's not so much in the way. So you can come up here, buy this, sell these buildings off, and put your own building assortment down if you're looking for something a little bit different. But remember, we cannot put down these custom animal areas. So if we end up selling the custom animal areas, you're going to be putting down either a modded animal area or one of the base game animal pens. So we've got storage, lots of storage at this particular facility. We have our maintenance trigger and our wardrobe trigger behind this door. We got a bit of a tunnel to drive through. We have a silage pit for this particular cow area. We have our milk trigger. We have our 5.4 for our cows. 300 cows in this facility. We have our food trough on the right. We have our slurry point. We have our fuel trigger. And then we're going to make our way up to the very, very last point of interest, which is going to be the sheep pen for this particular farm. And to get to the sheep pen, we've got to drive through the cow pasture. Kind of an interesting setup there. There's some more storage, excellent for storing machinery or bales of cotton or bales of hay to feed our sheep. Then we have our water trough, food trough, and our sheep buy point. 200 sheep in this facility. Then we have our wool spawn point right here, nicely under roof. So guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below of Attingham Park. Did you play it in 19? Are you looking forward to it in 22? Maybe this is the first time you've seen Attingham Park, or maybe you didn't get around to playing it in 19. Are you going to give it a whirl in FS22? And until next time, happy farming.